cosine of x du e to the x.
It'll be a minus, it'll be negative, it'll be like e to the x sine of x minus
E to the x cosine of x.
And then that would carry over to the positive where it brings out like the.
I gotta do one more time. It looks like to me I gotta do one more.
No, you forgot to put in the UV on that second one. The e to the x times cosine of x.
Where? Right here?
No, right above it.
Right here?
Yeah. You forgot your UV minus.
Okay. Should be e to the x cosine of x.
E to
Minus.
the x sine of x minus e to the x cosine of x.
Sorry, I got mixed up. Just go by my notes. That way I won't mess up. E to the x cosine of x. dv is e to the x. v is e to the x. dv is negative. I'm sorry. du is negative sine of x. That will give me e to the x sine of x minus cosine x e to the x, correct? Is that what y'all were telling me? Minus, that's what happens when you don't follow your notes. Minus cosine x e to the x minus antiderivative e to the x minus sine x dx. Just erase that bottom part so I don't get mixed up again. There, that looks a little bit better. And of course, that negative can come out, and that'll make that a plus. And that would be just multiplication there. That looks a little bit better. So you should have e to the x sine of x minus cosine x e to the x. And that minus comes out and makes that a plus, but I don't see it coming out. Why isn't it coming out? I didn't take it out on here, but it should. I should have a minus right here. I distributed. I distribute the negative right here. That's why. E to the x sine of x, distribute the negative, and that's minus e to the x cosine of x minus the antiderivative of e to the x sine of x dx. That's where the negative comes from. And now you have this equaling this. So let's just rewrite it, and I'll take it over to the next page. E to the x sine of x dx is equal to e to the x sine of x minus e to the x cosine of x minus the antiderivative of e to the x sine of x dx. And I know it's not going to let me copy all that. Wow, I don't believe it. So I told you to write small? Okay, now you got this guy can come over here And one antiderivative of this plus one antiderivative of this is 2 antiderivative e to the x sine of x dx is equal to e to the x sine of x minus e to the x cosine of x. And then divide by 2. And the antiderivative of e to the x sine of x dx is equal to, and you can make that 1/2 come out, and you can factor out an e to the x. So I'm going to do that, and it'll be 1/2 e to the x of sine of x minus cosine of x. And that can be also written as e to the x over 2 sine of x minus cosine of x. And don't forget what? Let's see. That's a test question. I mean, to be able, it may not be that long, but to be able to see the algebra right here. And the algebra is combining what? Combining like terms. Alright. Look in your book. See if there's some in your book we can do.
If not, can we go home?
Huh?
If not, can we go home?
Yeah. Just go on with it. Y'all are losers. Let's pull up and hand it in the book. See if we can find something in there to do. Then we'll move on. I think that's the section we're on. Let's try number 9.
What is it?
Natural log of the cube root of x dx. Natural log of the cube root of x dx. log of cube root of x dx. Are all three of those the same thing? Yes or no? So all three of them can be used to get your answer. I think the easiest one is which one? I think this one's the easiest one. Pull that 1/3 out. I'm gonna go with this one. Pull the 1/3 out, and then you got natural log of x dx, and I think we did that one before, did we not? Where we made dv equal to dx, or v is equal to dx, I'm sorry. And u equal the natural log of x. Du is equal to 1 over x dx. And dv, or that's dv. I can't remember which one's which.
Just DV.
dv.
Yeah.
And v is equal to x. So now we ultraviolet minus voodoo. That'd be 1/3 natural log of x times x minus the antiderivative of x times 1 over x dx. So 1/3 x natural log of x minus the x is canceled. What's the antiderivative of dx? Now you could factor out an x.
Is it X or is it 1?
Huh?
X. Antiderivative of 1 is
Antiderivative of 1 dx is x. Is it not?
I don't know.
Huh?
I just looked at the canceling.
Yeah, the x is canceled. Factor out an x, then you should get natural log of x minus 1 plus c. Either one of those answers. Now, another way you could have done it, you could have done the same way here. I think you see it be a little bit more challenging. I'd pick that way. Capiche? Let's pick another. So y'all can feel confident with yourselves. Try number 12. P to the 5th, natural log of P dt. P to the 5th. P to the 5th, natural log of P dt. You know what's good on sausage biscuit? Mustard and grape jelly.
I thought he put straight
It's the same thing you put in the weenies with the crock pot.
Yeah, you lost.
Huh?
You lost.
You know the little weenies in the crock pot?
Yeah, but I don't think I put mustard in.
Well, you don't, but other people do, and people eat them.
I don't know about that.
It's real good.
It's like one of those things you did in elementary school. On the
I don't believe it.
Put the mustard and the ketchup, you just put everything together until it's some kind of messed up looking contraption. And then you try and eat it.
That's just like little kids in the drinks, drink machine.
What are y'all talking about?
Good. I agree with you.
Okay. I was fixing to say, I thought you ain't got any jelly in there, do you? No. Oh, well.
And, you know, little kids go to the drink machine, there's a Sprite, Dr. Pepper, Coke.
Suicide, they used to call it, Skateland.
Suicide. It's a compliment suicide.
Let's see, P to the sixth over 6. Natural log of P minus the antiderivative of P to the 6th over 6 times 1 over P dP. Do a little bit of cleaning up. Can't clean this up any. So P to the 6th over 6, natural log of P. That 1/6 can come out. And then you have the antiderivative of P to the what? P to the 5th dP. And I think we can do that. So that's P to the 6th over 6, natural log of P. You'll have to excuse my writing down at the end. So 1 over 6, and that'd be P to the 6th over 6 plus C. So P to the 6th, let me just do this. Wish I could write that small. That'd be P to the 6th over 6, natural log of P, minus P to the 6th over 36 plus C, and we can factor out what? P to the 6th over 6, P to the 6th over 6, and that'll leave us with natural log of P minus 1 over 6 plus C. Just like playing the piano, you get better at it, the more you what? The more you want to quit. Exactly. Good job. I'm teaching y'all well. Hopefully by the time y'all get to count 3, y'all be done dropped out of school. Let's see. Let's challenge you a little bit. Let's go with, I'm not going to do 17 to you. I mean, you can if you want, well, let's do 17. E to the 2 theta, sine of 3 theta. E to the 2 theta, sine of 3 theta. I should make these where I can copy them. I won't have to copy them over. E to the 2 theta, sine of 3 theta. Huh? Does it have one?
Go to the start bar.
Down here?
Type in SNP in search bar.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know you could do that. Is it like a crop?
Yeah.
Yeah, just make a square out of whatever, over whatever you want.
You were already on it, go put new again.
It, what,
Put
new?
it in.
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
Just then you save it as a
Click and
JPEG.
drag. You can just copy it and paste it.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know that, I didn't know you could do that, thanks. Where'd you learn that? How did I copy it?
Windows.
The side to save,
Huh?
side to save.
This?
Yeah,
It just copies it?
yeah. And I go wherever and paste it.
Huh. Where'd you learn that?
It's been a while. Post and paste it.
Y'all suck. Okay, why didn't it got, oh, I bet I gotta insert it. No.
You have to save it if you're in the
Huh?
You have to save it if you're in the pull it up that way.
Oh, that is so cool. Thank you. Blurry, but it'll work. Huh. Learn something new every day. Dang old student teaching. Dang old teaching. All right. Finish it up. Oh, Lord, no, I don't need that. So, I would make U equal to the sine of 3 theta. So du is equal to 3 cosine of 3 theta d theta. dV is equal to e to the 2 theta, and that'd be 1/2 e to the 2 theta. Or e to the 2 theta over 2. So, that's going to give you ultraviolet, which is 1/2 e to the 2 theta times the sine of 3 theta minus the antiderivative voodoo 1/2 e to the 2 theta, 3 cosine 3 theta d theta. We're going to have to clean up a little bit. So this can't be cleaned up, but this can. So 1/2 e to the 2 theta sine of 3 theta minus, we could pull out the 1/2 and the 3, right? Yes, Hubert. Thank you, class. Appreciate the interaction, losers. Cosine 3 theta d theta. I think we're going to have about the same thing we had with that other problem we had. This looks like this is where it's going. Here I'm going to make u equal cosine of 3 theta. So that's going to be u equals cosine of 3 theta. So du would be what? Derivative of sine is the what? Negative cosine. Derivative. Negative sine. The negative sine would be 3 sine. Negative 3 sine d theta. V dv is equal to e to the 2 theta. So v is equal to 1/2 e to the 2 theta. So that's going to be 1/2 e to the 2 theta sine of 3 theta minus 3/2 brackets ultraviolet minus voodoo be 1/2 e to the 2 theta cosine of 3 theta. I don't forget what I just said. 1/2 e to the 2 theta cosine of 3 theta minus the antiderivative of voodoo, which is going to be 1/2 e to the 2 theta times negative 3 sine of 3 theta d theta. And I think that's where you're going to get right here. I think you're going to get that back up there. So if we can, let's not going to do it. Yeah, it did. I'm lucky today. And I think once you clean this up, because that's still in brackets right here. I'm just thinking a couple of steps ahead. This negative 3/2 can come out right here, correct? And that would make that a positive 3/2. Y'all help me out. Thanks for the help. E to the 2 theta sine of 3 theta minus 3/2 1/2 e to the 2 theta cosine of 3 theta minus be a plus 3/2 e to the 2 theta times the sine of 3 theta d theta. And let's pull in our handy dandy problem. Is that not what we got right here? Looks like it. But I need to distribute that 3 halves, probably break that up. So let's distribute that, and we're gonna get